No, 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 no. This game week was horrible. Like, actually, a game week from hell. I couldn't have even predicted how terrible this would have gone. Like, I feel like every week I've had such positive variance. Like, bringing in somebody like Trippier, boom, double digit return. The next 3 to 4 weeks, he gets returns every single week. And it's like this week, my transfers were meh. Like, my captaincy, trash. And of course, the player I'm going without, Erling Haaland, smashes it. All of these things came back to bite me in 1 week. Like, genuinely unbelievable. Like, my rank went from the top 30K to the top 115K. Massive red. Like, it's unreal. And this is the thing with FPL, is that it drives me so nuts, where it's like you could put so much thought and time and effort into something and it may not even pay off. And like sometimes I feel like I overthink things. Like, I should, like, why do you guys even listen to me? Like, realistically, all you gotta do is just captain Salah every single week. Like, he's just been so consistent. I come out here every single week and I love Liverpool, and I tell you, I'm like, guys, he's got to return in 12, 13, 14, 15 games in a row now. And I didn't captain him. Like, what am I doing in a 50-50 decision week? Just captain the king. Like, what? It's not even just him. Like, Haaland went out there, got a 16-pointer. Oh my god, like, bro, like, Alvarez, bro, like, are you're gonna show up? Like, did you even play today? Like, I'm kidding. Like, Alvarez played all right. I honestly, I gotta be completely honest with you, I don't have Haaland in my team. I'm not trying to watch Man City games. Like, genuinely, it's good for my mental health to not watch Man City, because I don't know if any of you are in the same boat as me, but like, to know that Haaland is going to be around 100% ownership, I don't want to watch that. I already know who the best FPL picks in Man City are. Very simple. I'm going to go for Kyle Walker or Ruben Diaz defensively. Midfield, I'm just going to avoid unless I want to go really cheap with Rodri. And then I'm going to go for Alvarez and Haaland. There's nobody else. I'm not going to go Ederson. I've done it in previous years. The guy doesn't make any saves. Like, I don't care for him. And maybe KDB if he's an option. But otherwise, there's nothing to learn from Man City. It's just like a frustrating game week where, like, all these things came to bite me at once. And it's like what am I supposed to say, man? Like, next week's gonna be even worse, boys. Like, bring out the tissue box, man, for real. Like, Holland has Bournemouth. Like, this was the type of week where I thought, like, hey, like, I would have an okay week. Holland, he's playing against Man United, but Man United have been so poor. But Holland to get 3 returns, oh my god, away from home, bro. What? Oh my god, he's actually a monster. Like, he's him. Like, Holland, he's him. Why did I ever doubt this man? Bro. That's it. Video over. I'm out. Peace. Get out of here, man. I'm done with this, bro. Okay, I'm just kidding. But seriously, like, that's pretty much my feeling right now. All right, so jumping right into the game week 10 captaincy dilemma, we had Haaland who put up 16 points and Salah that put up 8 and Watkins that put up 2. Haaland was captained by 14.4 million people. Salah was captained by 2.2 million people, and 1.1 million people plus me, Captain Watkins. And what's funny? Like, you look at this and you think to yourself, like, hey, Haaland was probably like the highest effective ownership against me. Well, you're wrong. Like, Haaland's EO was only 83%. And that's why looking at these captaincy statistics can be very deceiving at times. And I think the key is understanding who are the effective ownerships, like percentages against you in your rank tier. So obviously, this is my rank tier. I'm sitting in the top 100K, or I was. And wow. I can't believe I just said that. Wow. So yeah, so when I was there, this is what the effective ownership was. And it's like almost everyone owns Salah and 50% of them just captained him. I'm sure there's like 20% maybe or 10% that are on Haaland. Maybe like 10% went for Watkins, but almost everyone was on Salah. I think when I look at my mini leagues, when I look at things around me, it's like everyone's pretty much on Mo. And yeah. So even when he scored that goal, oh my God, that goal was so lucky. Like, genuinely, like, bro, what is the defender doing? Matt Turner, what are you doing? I'd be surprised if he starts the next game. Given the fact he's not 100% nailed in the squad, like, that mistake, if I'm the coach, unforgivable. Genuinely, they just gave them a goal. It doesn't surprise you to see Salah get something. I knew he was going to get something. I just didn't think he would get a haul. And that's why I went out there and captained Watkins. And I just, so annoyed. The reason why I'm so annoyed is because Watkins had an XGI of 1.4. Like, Salah's XGI was less than Watkins, and he got more points. That's the thing that bothers me, is that Watkins had 2 big chances. The first one was where it's like the ball was played into him by McGinn, and like Watkins kind of hits it in the air. He sees Zaniolo coming and he's a lefty, so that's okay. He hits it in the air. Zaniolo is a professional football player. He comes in and shoots it wide. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, bro, you're a professional. Like, how do you miss that? You're like literally on the penalty spot. Unbelievable. Ridiculous. Like, he was subbed off at halftime and deservedly so. He played very, very poor. But also, that wasn't the only chance. Like, Watkins had some other half chances. And then there was another big chance. Matty Cash, he's like played in behind. I think it was Douglas Luiz. He puts it over the top. Matty Cash makes a run in behind, and then he cuts it across to Ollie Watkins. Literally, I've seen Watkins score this so many times, and he missed it. Like, the keeper saved it, bro. Like, oh my God, bro. When that missed, I was like, yo, it's just not my week. Like, I went for the differential, and it just didn't work out. And I just think the way that it worked out, I watched both games. Like, I watched the Liverpool game. I watched the Aston Villa game. Like, one was on the TV, one was on my laptop. And honestly, I'll live with it. Like, I'll live with the results. Like, I don't mind, like, not captaining Mo in this game with the way that the game went. Like, it is what it is. Like, I would run it back because of the fixture. Like, I do trust Ollie Watkins. I'm just disappointed on captaincy. I trust the decision I made. I trust the process. I trust the results. Like, the outcomes are understandable. This is like within the realm of like possibility, and it is what it is. I gotta live with it. Like, I knew the risk that I took. Yeah, but anyway, that's how captaincy was this week, and I'm obviously very bitter on captaincy, but that's not the only thing that didn't go my way. Like, I just want to give like moment of silence to like Luis Diaz and Pedro Neto, because it's like Luis Diaz, like, I think there was news that came out the day before the game where his mom and his dad were kidnapped, I think, in Colombia. And when that came out, I was like, oh my God, like, that's crazy. Like, I didn't expect that. So I was like no one, when they saw that on their timeline, like on Twitter, on Instagram, wherever they get their information, I'm sure no one was expecting that. So I was like, wow, like, that's nuts. And the first instinct for me was like, wow, like, that's terrible for him. Like damn, like, hopefully, like, he, they go figure that out, So I was expecting him to get right onto a flight, go back to Colombia, and then try to figure it out in his hometown. So as soon as I saw that news, I was like, okay, there goes my differential. That was probably one of the reasons I didn't captain Mo, but it is what it is. And so now I have to sit here, go through the Liverpool game, know Salah is against me, and know we're gonna win this game, and it is what it is. You just got to live with it. And I was one of the people that genuinely benched Trippier. Like, not many people in the community can say that if they owned him, they benched him. And, like, I even put a poll out. I was like, hey, would you rather play Alvarez, who plays a poor Man United, or Trippier, who plays Wolves, even though they're both away? And of the 15 people that voted, 80% voted to start Trippier. But I didn't. Like, this is an auto sub that's coming in for Luis Diaz. Like, boys, like, this is what I call negative variance. I just want to say, like, a shout out to Pedro Neto too. Like, he was in the form of his career. Like, he was literally playing so well. So yeah, like, it's when he picked up that injury too, and it looks pretty bad because, like, he was like cutting in on the left foot, and honestly I thought he was gonna curl it into the far post, like far corner, but he just couldn't shoot. And then he pulled up holding his hamstring, and I'm like, wow, that's like a classic 4 to 6 week hamstring pull, at least from what I'm thinking, based on just what I've seen from my history, right? But yeah, like, that's so unfortunate too, because he was playing well. And I guess the next question to ask is, like, what happens with Hwang? Because the dynamic between Hwang and Neto was good. They were vibing, they're scoring goals. But now that Neto's gone, that lack of creativity in the squad, like, who's gonna make up for it? Does that mean that Hwang is gonna be more talismanic? Is Hwang on the pens? Like, these are like lots of possibilities just in the back of my mind. So I'm just thinking, like, is Hwang an option, or does the Neto injury make him a better option or a worse option? Similar to, like, with Elise getting injured, does that make Eze like a better option or a worse option? Like, I don't even know. So I guess I don't really own him. But if you do and you're out there and you own Hwang, I'd obviously just hold for now. I think Sheffield United next week, see how it goes, and then take it from there. But something to think about if you are, like, monitoring that Wolves situation or looking for those players in your squad. But yeah, overall, my transfers this week, I did Madison and Kulusevski to Saka and Matoma. These were like my pre-planned transfers to make because I know Arsenal's fixtures are so strong going forward, and I know Brighton's fixtures are so strong. Matoma could be a longer-term hold if I need him to be. And, both of these guys actually matched what Madison and Kulusevski did. So kind of like my transfers didn't work out this week. But you don't need to have like instant gratification. Like that doesn't happen all the time. That has happened to me every single week so far, but that usually doesn't happen. I've played FPL for like 5 to 6 years now. I know what it's like. You know, you make a transfer and like you'll sell somebody that scores, you know? And it's like, oh, I could have just kept them. Like that's how this game is gonna be. Like we're selling good players for good players. Like things like this are very possible. But I'm just happy that at least Saka and Matoma matched Madison and Kulusevski. But Saka was pretty lucky. Like that assist off the corner was pretty controversial. Not sure what the ruling was, but the fact that he crossed it into the 6 yard box apparently is the point that like that was his intended target. Like usually like the way FPL works in terms of their assists is like if somebody's passing to somebody, even if the defender touches it, if it's going to the intended target, like even if it's touched and it's still going to that person, they'll count it as an assist, even though that player defended it. But there's this one rule that like if like in terms of this intended target thing, it's like if you cross it into the box and it's going to the 6 yard box, regardless of who touches it, as long as somebody scores, it still counts as an assist. So it's like the 6 yard box is a target apparently. So that's one of the rules. And so I was like, I didn't know that, but I'll take my points and I'll just walk away with a cheeky smile because low key, like I need those points. So, like genuinely, yeah, I'm just really glad Saka returned versus Sheffield United. If he didn't return, bro, this would have been some BS week. Like honestly, but yeah, I'm really happy that I have White. Like White started. And you know what? Like he was actually subbed after a 60 minute, like I think it was like 65 minutes. He gets subbed off. He played well. He actually had one shot on the top of the box. He could have scored it. Like imagine that went in. But yeah, like we can't like live in our dreams, you know. I think the thing to really talk about in terms of Arsenal is that Arteta doesn't mind benching Gabriel whenever he chooses to. Like I posted in every single video, I've had this and I said that Ben White is the guy to go for. Saliba is the only other alternative I'd look at. I wouldn't even go for the keepers because I don't know who's going to start. Rhea's been pretty shaky at times, but I do know he's like the better keeper over him and Ramsdale. Like to me, Rhea, in terms of like where goalkeepers rank in the Premier League, I'd put Alisson at number one, Pope at number two because of how great he is at shot stopping. And I think in terms of an overall perspective, I'd probably put Rhea third. Maybe from a shot stopping perspective, you can argue for like Emi Martinez, but I think I'd still put Rhea overall better than Emi Martinez in terms of ball distribution and diving, reflexes, agility, speed, all the aspects together. I'd probably take Rhea. Like even if you looked at the passes Rhea had to Martinelli, 2 or 3 of them, wow, like gorgeous. Genuinely can start the counterattack from him. I wouldn't be surprised if he picks up an assist. Like that's how great he is. So, but yeah, but either way, I just still want to emphasize that I don't know if you can trust any single Arsenal defender. Even Zinchenko. Zinchenko picked up some great positions, but that guy's injury prone. AF. So it's like, don't be surprised if he just misses a game randomly and you're just going to find out about it the day before the deadline. Or like he just misses training. Like that's just how Zinchenko is. That's why he's never really an FPL pick in my mind. This X-Mins are always just a question mark with him. So yeah, I'm really happy to have White. And I think for those of you that have Gabriel, yeah, I think I would hold because you're probably not going to play him against Newcastle. And you hope that he gets the next game. I think it's against Burnley in Gameweek 12. Or whoever it is, it's an easy fixture. So hopefully you start him that week and hope he starts. But if he doesn't start that game, instant sell. Like instant sell to whoever. I would even be tempted to just get rid of that problem if you have 2 free transfers and you have the ability to use one. I would just go up to Saliba. If you don't have the money, then that's when I think I would actually consider going down. If you're nervous about him starting, because listen, like it's game week 1 all over again. You know, it's like Gabriel, he's not nailed in the squad. And I think Arteta's made that abundantly clear. I don't think you need to listen to what managers say. I think you need to understand like the patterns that they're using in terms of team selection. But at the same time, you know, Odegaard also missed this game. Like Odegaard also went out there and didn't play. And so does that mean that Odegaard's not nailed? I don't think so. I just think Odegaard's not playing well. This could be my opinion, but I just think he hasn't been as creative. Like, honestly, I think Bruno Fernandes and James Maddison are playing better than Odegaard this year. And it's crazy because I think Odegaard very much deserved to be in the team of the season last year. Like, he was, like, super nailed, in my opinion, because of how well he was playing in terms of creativity, in terms of, like, the way he was finishing, like, amazing. Like, he's the captain of Arsenal and deserves to be. He's that good. Like, probably, he's my favorite player at Arsenal. Obviously, now it's becoming Starboy Saka because he's stepping up into the next level. Dude, I swear, if Saka didn't get any points, it would have gone from Starboy Saka to Starbus Saka so quickly. Like, yo, this week, ugh. honestly. But anyway, whatever. But yeah, I just think from a defensive perspective, you got to go for White, and if you don't, there's a chance that you have to go for Saliba, and if you don't go there, you may end up eventually just moving out of Arsenal defense completely. But yeah, so that's where I am from an Arsenal perspective. So I'm just glad that I got the 6 points from White. He was subbed off after the clean. Moving on to Matty Cash. Okay, listen, this was a moment I saw Salah score because I'm watching both games at the same time. Salah scores, I'm livid. I'm like, yo, 150% Salah. That's like a 50% hurt to my rank. And then like 1 or 2 minutes later, Cash concedes, and I'm like, oh my god, like this week literally can't get any worse because I'm seeing Watkins missing his chances, and now it's like Aston Villa concede, but I didn't realize, but Cash was actually subbed off earlier. Thank God. So yeah, he picked up a yellow card. That's why he has 5 points. But at least he got the clean sheet. So like that is like ideal, where it's like he gets the defensive points, and everyone else that went for an Aston Villa defender that wasn't him didn't get anything. So sucks for those people. But it's always nice when you can get points and other people don't, right? And then moving on to Trent, like, man, I love Trent, but yo, that one tackle where he got the yellow card, like, I know he was trying to stop the ball, like, he was trying to stop the defender from passing the ball. He was really not even trying to tackle the player. He was just trying to stop the pass, but his momentum kind of took him into the player, and I guess that's why the ref like gave him yellow because it was late and he did catch the man too. But you could understand what his intention was when you were watching. I just wish that refs gave players the benefit of the doubt in that scenario. But it is what it is. Like I'm not just saying that because he's in my team. I'm just saying that in general. But yeah, so Trent with the 5 pointer, that's fine. Like a lot of my friends when we were wildcarding together, they went for either Robertson, that guy, that sucked for that guy. But the other people, they went for Van Dijk. And he's been killing it, picking up the bonus as well. Like a silently very solid FPL pick so far. And I think if I had to redo it, I probably would have Virgil on my team because I don't think Trent is playing at the level that I'm expecting him to be at. He's not being as creative. Corners are okay. Like obviously, like that's like one of his routes to points, but the free kicks have been awful. He's not really creating that much from open play. Like I've always imagined that like that one pass from Trent on the right side to that left winger and they'll score. And that's why I had Diaz in my squad. But even that like switch of play, it's more so to the left back instead of the left winger. So I don't know. Trent's not really picking up the positions. I think his dynamic with Szoboszlai, it's like that Szoboszlai's influence is kind of taking away from Trent. Where it's like the creativity from the team is getting better, but it's getting more spread across different players rather than being Trent as the talismanic creative player for Liverpool. But Trent is still a world-class passer. He's going to pick up assists here and there. I'm not going to doubt the quality of the player. I have him in my squad. I'm just going to continue to hold him, but it's just not as great of a position, especially given the fact that you can get Tsimikas at 4.5 and he's nailed every game. So that's like another reason for me to be like very doubtful and nervous over the next couple weeks, where it's like, what if Tsimikas just matches Trent for 4.5? That thought is in the back of my mind. But anyway, yeah, the Trippier, I didn't even mean to start Trippier. He came on for the 0-pointer, like whatever. So moving on to my mids. Matoma. Okay, Matoma is a solid pick. Like I just assume that over the course of the next 4 weeks, he's gonna give me some returns. You can't really determine like which fixture is gonna come in. You just hope that it comes in. And like I trust Matoma. Like I have no doubt that he will be a good pick over the course of the season, even if I had to hold him that long. So he's solid. I have no doubts about him. High expected minutes. I trust Roberto De Zerbi in terms of his attacking philosophy, and scoring 1 goal in a game is an anomaly for De Zerbi. Expect him to go out there and score 3 or 4 in the next game. Like that's just how football is. And then moving on to the Spurs game, that was the first game of the weekend. I am so thankful for Jordan Ayew. Like Jordan Ayew's always been a hard worker, but are you scared when Jordan Ayew's like coming up against you in a one-on-one? Because when I'm watching it, I'm like, yo, this guy's not going to do anything. But I'm just thankful, so thankful. I literally just ridiculed him, but I'm so thankful that he scored. Because, like, Spurs' defense effective ownership is very high. Like, Van de Ven, Udogie, who's actually not playing right now, but Romero, Pedro Porro. These are all picks that are in people that own these players in my mini league. So when Ayew scored, it took away those points, and it gave Son bonus. So it was like a double positive for me. So that really helped to see like Son just get 1 goal and to get 10 points. Massive. Like I think he's essential. And especially because he's on penalties, and I don't think he's taken a single pen this year. So imagine if he took some pens along the way. Oof, this guy's crazy, man. Then we got the King, super consistent. He got really lucky this week, but he also played very well, so he could have had more returns too. So it is what it is. Like Salah, He's the king for a reason, very consistent. And Saka, I talked about him already. Really glad that he got that assist. Thank God. Imagine he blanked too. Would have like added like salt to the wound, like literally adding insult to injury if he blanked. And then Ollie Watkins, my captain. The less said about it, the better. And then, but yo, I just want to emphasize, I don't regret the decision. I would make that decision again, especially given the result and the expected statistics that Watkins had. I just disappointed that he blanked. It is what it is. Like, you just got to roll with the variance. Like, that's how life is how football is. Get used to it, baby. We got like 28 more weeks worth of this stuff, man. And then Julian Alvarez, like, brother, you're supposed to match Haaland for 7.0, man. What are you doing, man? Nah, but yeah, like I already knew like you're never going to be able to match Haaland. I'm just hoping that Alvarez is a good pick in his own right, and I'm sure he'll take over later on. The last thing I want to mention on this slide, because it's tough, is like, look at my game week rank. It's 9 million. There's only 10 million players that play FPL. That's insane. like that's actually insane. Like, I'm ranked in the top 100,000 and I got a game week rank of 9 million. Wow. Like, that's, if that's not humbling, I don't know what is. And then there was like one moment in the Liverpool game where like Diego Jota, like I think he like cuts in, scores, and then he goes to the bench, picks up the Luis Diaz jersey. Like, that was like a heartwarming moment there. Like, I think anyway that was like watching that game or was a Liverpool fan, like your heart just like damn. Like, cause like we're all thinking about Luis Diaz, you know, like the only reason Jota's in the squad is because Diaz wasn't there. So that was a really nice touch from the team. So I was really happy to see that. There are a couple things I do want to discuss and make fun of other teams because I need to increase my happiness right now. I think the number one thing I want to mention is that I don't know how to judge Chelsea. They're either underrated or inconsistent, and it swings from like one area to the next. It's like a pendulum where it's like I don't know how to put my finger on them. And it's interesting because I noticed that Thomas Frank has more wins at Stamford Bridge than Frank Lampard and Pochettino combined this year. That is madness. Like, what? Like the memes for Chelsea are hilarious because this is what was happening last year. So as soon as Chelsea bottle it, those people that were making the memes last year, they come out of their shell, they come out of the bushes, and like the memes just start coming up. Like, even look at this meme. This is like Neil Mope, who's like going in off Chelsea's corner, gonna score a goal. But you know, I think maybe Mope has Mbumo in his fantasy team because he just like has a sweaty pass like it's FIFA to Mbumo so he can get the points and gets the goal. But yeah, you can just see Sanchez like just coming back like. Ugh, it's just crazy. I don't really blame Sanchez. It's just the scenario that he was in. But it's one of those things where it's like, Chelsea, bro, seriously. Like, last week, you went out there, you dominated Arsenal. Like, genuinely. Like, you played so well. And then this week, at home, I think, and you're losing to Brentford. Like, it was embarrassing. They played like high school kids out there. So, very disappointing. But I said this last week. I said that Brentford are going to be good against poor teams. But I think I have to correct that. I think I have to say that Brentford are just a good team, period. Even against the good teams, like, they will do well. Like, Mbumo could be a season-long hold, especially if Ivan Toney doesn't come back because he would continue to be on pens, right? Or maybe Chelsea are just a poor team. So the jury's still out. We'll find out how that goes. And like the last team that I am looking at in terms of differentials, I mentioned this earlier, but like Wolves have scored in like 12 games in a row now. Like, Hwang is literally on fire. I think he has like 7 returns in 10 games, like very solid. And of course, the Neto injury could change things. So it's just something to monitor if, like, you know, you're interested in like a cheap player instead of somebody like Cole Palmer. Speaking of Cole Palmer, he played really well. I think he put up an XGI of like 1.0. And the fact he is on pens makes him a really great budget enabler pick. But, you know, does Nkunku come back and take pens off of him? I don't know. So something to just keep an eye on. Something that I do have that on my watch list because that could make Cole Palmer pretty much essential if Nkunku comes back to get a pen and Cole Palmer actually takes it. Because at his price, that's just wow. Like, that's just wow territory. Like, that's the type of thing that allows you to just have Salah plus Haaland all season, if that's a thing. But for now, I'm just avoiding because it's Chelsea. I'm lukewarm. I'm just underrating Chelsea because I think that's the best way to think about them. But yeah, there's just a couple things like I've been talking to people on Twitter just to get some feedback in terms of making my videos more informative or better for the audience. And I think addressing things that are like more mainstream and not just specifically surrounded on my team, I think it'll be beneficial for the audience. So there's just a couple of things that I would think about if I had Pedro Neto in my squad. What I would do, it was first priority would be to get enough money to go up to Matoma, because I think he's the one that I do trust long term. And I think second priority would be like probably a Dingra for the next three. But if you don't mind just like making a transfer for the long term, probably Mbumo, because he has the pens and he's just that great. Moving on, I already mentioned the Odegaard thing. I don't think he's going to be benched again. I just think Arteta's sort of teaching him a lesson, or maybe Odegaard's carrying an injury, but it does seem suspicious that in the easiest game, he benched him. Like, that's an Odegaard fixture. So, just interesting. Something to think about. But yeah, I'm not sure I would go to Odegaard long term. Like, I just feel like Arsenal's attack statistics aren't that great. And I know he is sharing penalty duties with Saka, but apart from that, his attacking statistics are terrible. So, just not playing that great this year. So, not even on the front of my mind. And Gabriel is probably a sell in game week 12 if he doesn't play. But if he does, you can continue to hold. But if Arsenal ever get a double game week, that's not going to be a double game week for Gabriel. I'm going to tell you in advance, I'm expecting him to just start one game. So to me, long term, he isn't the right Arsenal asset to own. And I would eventually look to sell him, whether it's on a wild card or if you have 2 free transfers and you have the ability to burn, I would get rid of him. The next thing I think is like, if you're looking for a budget mid, like who's the right player to pick between Bowen and Matoma? And I think I want to break this down in 3 things. I think Bowen has a history of being a better player than Matoma because we've seen him put up 200 plus points before. We haven't seen Matoma do it. The next thing is that like Bowen probably has a higher goal involvement percentage. So if West Ham score a goal, Bowen is more likely to be involved. Then I want to counteract that with Brighton have higher XG as a team than West Ham. So it's a really 50-50 decision, especially given the fixtures are solid for both of them long term. I think to me, I would just pick the cheaper one. But if you fancy like Bowen, like go ahead. I don't think it's the wrong pick. I just think I'd rather just save that money if it's a 50-50 decision, especially knowing that Brighton are a really strong attack. And I think you can give the slight edge to Bowen in terms of expected minutes because De Zerbi does like to tinker. But I think people are overrating how much he tinkers in terms of like Matoma and Dunk. I think those two are very much nailed in the Brighton 11. And I think the main question to think about is anyone essential in FPL? And I think the answer to that is no. Like, I don't have Haaland. There are people out there that have gotten green arrows and don't have Salah. Like, no one is essential in FPL. I think the game is so well priced that, like, you can go for differential players like Hwang, Neto. You can make a squad based off of that and build around Haaland plus Salah. And you could have done that and been really successful. You could also look at it the other way, where it's like, I'm going to go for all these 8.0s. I'm going to go for Foden, Alvarez, Diaz, Madison, Son. Like, that could be your midfield. And then have, like, Haaland and maybe Watkins up top. And then have, like, Trent and Trippier as your defense. Like, going for just solid, like solid price players over the course of your team. And just having, like, maybe one premium. Like, you could totally do that, too. Like, I don't think anyone's essential. But for me, like, this is my opinion, I think Son and Saka are essential. Like, that's just the way that I think about it. Those are 2 players on penalties. They're going to be in the top 4. I don't care regardless of their fixture. Like, they are a good option. They're never going to be a priority sell because there always are going to be other issues in your team. And I think they will be 200-point scorers easily this year. So there's like 2 players I think are essential. And I think I build my squad from now on till the end of the season with those 2 staying there unless they pick up any injuries. And lastly, Luis Diaz. Like, if you have Luis Diaz in your squad, what do? I think you have to wait for more information. Like, if he decides to stay with his family, like, I wouldn't even be surprised if he decides to stay with his family for like 2-3 weeks. Like, just if this has happened to me and if I was in his shoes, I think there'd be a part of me that wouldn't want to leave. Like, if I went home, I'd rather just stay for a bit, because it's like, there's more to life than like FPL and like football. It's like you want to spend time like with the people that you love. And like, if something like that had happened to me, that's the way that I would be thinking. It's like, I'm trying to put football I would want to compartmentalize football for a second and just like take a step back and go live. So I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't come back for 2 to 3 weeks. I could also see the other way where it's like, hey, like, listen, like, I love my football. I want to go back and I want to go help the team. We have a chance to go win the title. Like, I want to be there. I see that too. So I don't know what's going to happen. There's no precedent of something like this happening. And I just want to give Diaz the space to go make the decision that he feels is right. And yeah, hopefully they get that whole situation resolved because that's crazy. Moving on, we've got my Captaincy Matrix. This week, there's no decision to make. It's just going to be Salah versus Luton. Just hoping that he outscores Haaland. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully, just do it one time. Can you just be like one time, Haaland? Please, God. Imagine how quick the narrative can turn. Like, FPL landscape changes so quickly. Imagine that happened. Oof, that would be a dream. All right, so just moving on to my Game Week 11 preview. I have one free transfer. I haven't made it. I didn't make a rage transfer. I have point 0.2 in the bank, and the truth is I have two problem spots. Number one is going to be Luis Diaz. I don't know whether he's going to be in the country. I don't know what is going on there, so that's something I have to monitor. I'm just going to wait till towards the end of the week and hope. Honestly, what I'm hoping is that he's back in town, benched in Europa League, and then starts the Prem. That's the ideal scenario. But if that's the case where we find out that he's going to be out for a little while, the dream transfer would be Luis Diaz to Diego Jota. I have exact money to make that move. The only reason I even have this point 0.2 in the bank is because Matoma and Saka fell in price. But yeah, this could be gorgeous. Like that Luton fixture alone is something I want to target. I think when I look at the differentials that I have, like in terms of my watch list, like Diaby, Mbumo, Madison, Arsenal mids, I think I'm going to take the Arsenal mids off the radar. Even though I think Martinelli at 7.7 would be a great differential, it's not for me. I just don't trust Arsenal's attack. I don't think they're clicking. Even though they scored 5 goals, I think you have to caveat that with it was Sheffield United. So, yeah, so I'm just going to avoid the Arsenal mids for now. Madison, I'm not going to go back there. I think I'm going to be more patient. The other alternative would be Diaby, who played great this week, and then Mbumo, who's on pens, who is probably just a good pick overall for the long term anyway. So I think those two are probably going to be the ones like Diaby and Mbumo are the main ones, but Diego Jota is the one that's like spicy. And to be even more spicy, like Tabasco spicy, I think Szoboszlai from Liverpool is great because they have, the thing is you got to compartmentalize the fixtures. They have Luton, Brentford, Man City, which is tough. Then they have Sheffield, Fulham, Palace. Like those are really good fixtures. I think Liverpool can go out there in these like 6 games and get 5 wins. Like no doubt. Like I'm being completely serious. So having somebody like Szoboszlai, he's playing reminds me of like how like Odegaard was last year. Where he was just so creative, so incisive, and just helping the team. And he's not doing it for himself. He's just making other players better. And I'm sure he's gonna pick up a goal at some point. He did get a couple shots on target this game. So yeah, like Szoboszlai is great. I think he's one of the reasons Liverpool are playing so well. Like he's just sort of rejuvenated the midfield. So yeah, I love watching him play. And it's not just because like it's an eye test thing. I think he has just as many expected goals as Diego Jota. And I think in these games, Liverpool can score like 3 or 4 goals in all of them. So I think having an extra Liverpool player is important to me. I think the upside is massive. So yeah, if we notice that Luis Diaz is out for a long time, then it would be a Diego Jota. If he's maybe out for only 1 week, then I probably might just move to Szoboszlai and try to keep that price point in my squad for a little bit longer, and then just spend the money later on. Just figure it out. I think with Tariq Mitchell, what I'll do is I will hold regardless. Like whether he's fit or he's not, I don't think I'll want to transfer him out. Obviously, unless he's like injured his hamstring and he's out for like 2 to 3 months or something, then I'll look to sell him. But it didn't look that bad. I think he walked off. It wasn't a big deal, but you've also seen like Virgil van Dijk like tear his ACL and walk off the pitch. So just something I want to monitor. I'll keep an eye on that. But if worst case, if I have to play Trippier versus Arsenal at home, I'll do that. And like Arsenal have shown that in big games, they'll choose to play very defensive. So I don't think this really matters that much playing Trippier. It's not as bad as if he was playing like a Liverpool. Even if that was at home, I would rather just not play Trippier. But Arsenal at home, yeah, I'm pretty suspect on Arsenal attack. I'm still expecting Arsenal to score though. So I'd probably expect the Trippier blank. But Trippier is so talismanic. Like even in this game where he got 0 points against Wolves, he put up an XGI of 0.5. So yeah, you can't really doubt Trips. He always has like routes to points, even in tougher games. And that's it. I don't think I'm going to make a transfer elsewhere. I'm just going to roll with everyone else. I love the rest of my team. Even though they didn't do that great this week, I do trust the players that I picked so far. And yeah, that's how I'm feeling going into next week. I got to put my hands up. Like, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Like, genuinely, I wish I could click the fast forward button. Like I wish I could just go into game week 16 and be there with the roller coaster and know what the results of this situation would be. Like I have no idea if I made the right decision selling Haaland or not. My gut tells me if I sell Haaland and he still goes out there and outscores players like Mo and like going against him isn't the right decision, FPL is going to become one of the most boring games of all time because what you're going to do is you're just going to own Haaland and then just not captain him and figure out a way to find like low price differentials in your squad every single year because like you'll never want to get rid of Haaland. And I think in my heart, like deep down, I feel like that isn't the right way to play. I do really feel that selling Haaland is the right way to play, and I just have to ride the variance. Like literally I was watching this. Like I didn't. Okay, to be honest with you, I actually went to go play basketball during the Man City game. My mom was at home. She's like going through surgery, so she was like watching TV and stuff. She just can't really go out, so she's watching the Man City game. We were chatting about like FPL and soccer because that's one of the things we bond over. And she's just like, listen, you need to find a way to get Haaland back in your team. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this, because like that is what people that are casuals will do. They'll see this massive haul by Haaland and be like, listen, I need to bring him back in my squad. Selling Trent, I'm gonna sell Salah, sell Trent, sell Trippier. I'm gonna sell Son. I'm gonna sell Soccer. Like they're gonna sell the house. They're gonna take a -8. They're gonna bring Haaland in. They're gonna captain him, and it's like, okay, they're gonna be vindicated because it's Bournemouth. Okay, but what about the weeks after that, bro? Like, you don't feel like you want Trippier in like 2 or 3 weeks when they're playing Luton, Fulham, and someone else, Nottingham Forest? Like in those weeks, you're gonna want Trippier back. Like if you're gonna want Son back in like 3 to 4 weeks, even if, like, I think he's essential, so I would never sell Son. So it's like, it's just so annoying. Like the thing is like with the way FPL is there's so many different paths you can take that are viable. Like people are so well priced in this game that there isn't one correct way to play that I think is better than the others. It's just about picking the right picks, trusting your gut and like what you see with your eye test, what the analytics are telling you, and you're saying, okay, I'm gonna make this decision, and just like let the pieces fall where they may. Like we don't know where the variance is gonna go, whether it's gonna go towards Haaland or towards Mo. It's like you don't know. And I'm just hoping, even this week, as an example, coming up, like Salah has Luton, probably the worst team in the league. Bournemouth, they were in the league last year. They still stayed up. They're obviously not like one of the best teams, but you're expecting Man City to go smash them as well. If they're gonna smash Man United, they're gonna smash Bournemouth. You'd expect. But that's the thing where it's like, Salah's playing Luton. Like, why can't Salah just go outscore Haaland? And then I'm like gonna be sitting here with Salah with a hat trick and Haaland has a goal, and I'm like, yo, I'm him, bro. But that's not how it works. I just feel like I'm nervous, bro. Like coming into this week, I can feel like my tactical nous, like the strategy, everything I've implemented in my squad is like slowly slipping away. Like the Mitchell injury, the Luis Diaz absence, because obviously the personal thing, it's understandable, but it still hurts, Like Diaz out, Mitchell potentially injured. It's not just a 1 week issue. Like these issues are gonna creep up and continue for the next couple of weeks. So it's just frustrating. Life's so easy. It's like, when you're playing sports, they have this quote where it's like winning cures everything. Like when you're doing well, like the issues that you went through, like maybe missing your captain or not captaining the right player, or like not having the most optimal player instead of having a suboptimal player. It's like, as long as that guy's still returning, you don't really mind. And it's like, this is the thing where I feel like I'm stuck now. Like I have to ride this out. I got to trust my gut. I'm not going to make any rash moves. I'm just going to stay patient and wait for news. I'm going to wait for what happens with the Luis Diaz situation. I'm going to wait to decide on what I'm going to do with Tariq Mitchell, because I need more information on that as well. But yeah, it's a very tough situation coming up. I definitely will have a video out later this week because I have to go through my transfer plans, because this week is huge. Like, I don't want to just focus on fixing my issues. I also want to focus on the long term. So I don't even mind taking some like suboptimal plays short term. For example, playing somebody like Trippier away to Arsenal, because I also have Saka in my squad. I don't really mind it, but it's not something I would want to do. That's why I plan to have a Crystal Palace player in my squad, but it's fine. It's one of those things where it's like, it's not the end of the world. I've done so well so far. I don't want this to like beat me down. I just want to think positive and just remain I just want to be myself. I don't want any of this like negative things that have happened to me to change my mindset, and that'll impact a decision that I make that can cause me to be even more negative, and let negative decisions play into my mind and change the way I think or my decision process or decisions that I make. So I'm just going to continue to do me. Like, I'm him. Like, I'm Kanji FPL. I know ball. I'm him. So it's like, I'm just going to continue to do me, and hopefully it just works out over the longer term. And just please, Haaland, please, just for God's sakes, please don't get like 3 hat-tricks in a row. Please, God. Because if that happens, that would ruin me. Like, genuinely. Because I know even if he gets another hat-trick next week, I'm not going to sell him. Because I'm going to be like, yep, this is what I expected. He had the ability to do this. And then he's going to go against Chelsea, and Chelsea literally got battered by Brentford. So like, what if he goes out there and gets a hat trick again? Then I'm going to be sitting here like, bro, like, I'm not getting him. Like, it's fine, blah, blah, blah. It's like these are possible. Like, it's Erling Haaland. He's on the cover of FIFA. Like, he's that good. So, yeah, let's see, man. I don't know. I have no idea. Listen, I'm literally just ranting. I'm keeping it authentic. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna edit any of this out. I just feel like I have to just be real with you and tell you that I'm nervous. I'm nervous to be in this position. I'm nervous. I have no idea how the result's gonna go. Usually I have an idea, but I have no clue. And it's just like, that's what makes FPL so much fun. It's like, that's why I'm gonna be coming back next week, because this is what I live for. Like, I'm hoping that I made the right decision, and I'm hoping that, I get all the points and you guys get none of them, or like the people that still have Haaland. Like, I hope you guys get none of them. But that's just not how life is. So yeah, we're gonna just take it 1 week at a time, one step at a time. If I provided some value to you, please just drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all again soon. Peace.